Five-time champions Barcelona have been eliminated from the UEFA Champions League. Barca's exit was confirmed before they kicked a ball after Inter Milan blanked Victoria Plzeň 4-0 in one of two early games. That meant Barca hosted Bayern Munich at the Nou Camp, knowing they would be playing Europa League football next season. These are the results from the 8 matches played today. Liverpool beating Ajax 3-0, Napoli cutting down Rangers 3-0. Big result for Porto on the road. They beat Club Brugge 4-0, reversing a 5-0 defeat in the reverse fixture. Atletico Madrid and Leverkusen finished 2-2 in a wild game at the Wanda Metropolitano. Inter Milan confirming that victory of Victoria Plzeň. Bayern Munich beating Barca 3-0. Spurs and Sporting finishing 1-1. Another wild and controversial finish to that game. That one played in North London. And Eintracht Frankfurt beating Olympique Marseille 2-1. Let's start our review. We're looking at Barcelona's match at home to Bayern Munich. By the time this match began, Barca already knew they had no chance of making the Champions League last 16.
Some 5 seasons, then he went off to play for Hamburg, who are in the second tier. Here's a break on now for Sadio Mane. He's very good in one-on-one situations. He's that good. The flag stays down and Bayern break away to take an early lead here inside 10 minutes.
And have a look if he did indeed stay onside, and yeah, he did. It's a brilliant pass as well, perfectly weighted, and Mane does the rest so comfortably.
Neither scorer is playing tonight with Hernandez Sane. Here's Choupo-Moting, he can go in himself and makes it 2-0. His great run of form continues, and that approach from Barcelona of pushing up the field has left them vulnerable again at the back.
Yeah, avoid this kind of scenario, but don't they work it beautifully, Bayern Munich? It's the timing of the pass. And Choupo-Moting. Mane might get there first. Could be another one here. And Musiala can't get it either. And could well be curtains, but it stays at 2. And the gap might be halved here. Lewandowski muddled over by De Ligt. And Anthony Taylor has given Barcelona a penalty. We do know, of course, what usually happens in these circumstances. Get overturned. Doesn't need long.
No penalty. The game was up for Barcelona before it started in terms of any chance of qualification. And they've got a third goal from Pavard. A really difficult time in their history. Emphasised again here. No help from VAR and offside this time. Pavard, and in 19 games this season in all competitions.
Serge Gnabry having a hand in all 3 goals. Bayern running away with it, and they have run away with it. 15 points, Inter with 10, Barca 4, Victoria Plzeň with none. Victoria Plzeň conceding 20 goals in the section, with still 1 match day to go. Barca, look at those numbers. Played 5 games, won 1, drew 1, lost 3, scoring only 8 goals in those 4 games. This is the Barca with the mighty Robert Lewandowski, muted in both games against Bayern Munich and also muted against Inter Milan. So, yep, the tail of the tape doesn't read well for the 5-time former European champions. Barbados international and former Reading striker Nick Blackman joins us now. Good afternoon, Nick. Welcome back.
Hi, thank you. Good afternoon.
Yep. Not good enough from Barcelona, not just today, Nick, but from match day 1 in this Champions League.
Yeah, as you said, not just today. It's been coming all from the start of the Champions League campaign, and unfortunately they fell short. And as it's quite a bit short, they're 6 points off top of the group at the moment, and it's a disappointing campaign again.
Yeah, what would you put? What can you put your finger on as to the likely cause? Because when you look at the Barcelona individuals, these are big name players. It's not as if the teams that are better than them in this section, the Inters and Bayerns of this world, have individuals who are bigger names than the Barcelona coach has at his disposal. Why has Xavi not managed to extract more from the big name individuals he has in this squad?
Well, looking at the team tonight, you could say the defence has not quite been up to scratch from the start of the campaign. You would look at that and it almost looks like a second string defence. Secondly, I would then say also with the midfield, they don't have the Xavis or the Iniestas playing anymore. They still have one member of the old guard in Sergio Busquets who's still playing there. They're trying to play the similar possession style football and they don't have the same quality that he was used to when he was playing. And thirdly, they're really lacking in pace. They only seem to have Dembele, who's the only one who can really create something and who's lively. And without that, I think they need a bit more of that, and they ultimately fell short this campaign.
Yeah, and what did you make of the Bayern Munich's performance today? Happy to see Sadio Mane among the goal scorers.
Fantastic. They've been fantastic all campaign. They're so strong and so fluid and so well organised, and they've got players at the other end of the pitch that, again, we just talked about Barcelona's lack of pace and strength, and if you look at Bayern's attacking front three and attacking front five, you'd say with a couple of players they've got on the bench as well, is full of pace, and ultimately that's hurt Barcelona this evening.
Do you see this Bayern Munich side, going all the way and even, challenging for this year's Champions League?
Yeah, most definitely. I think they've got a squad capable of challenging for the Champions League, and I think that's the most important thing. A lot of teams have a strong starting 11, but you see the depth that comes off Bayern's bench and people who weren't even used tonight. You have Choupo-Moting, who has played largely second fiddle to Robert Lewandowski, and he's really grabbed his opportunity in the last few weeks.
Yeah, I just want to ask about one goal. The goal that we're seeing now, Nick, the first goal, if we can go back to that, excellent place to stop it. I can't understand how a top-class team like Barcelona, with the individuals there again, Hector Bellerin is the left-back tracking Sadio Mane, Jules Koundé is centre of the field as a centre-half, then we have Marcos Alonso on that far side, and I don't know how the back line was so scrambled so early in the game, Nick, for one simple pass from the Bayern Munich half to cut open the Barcelona defense. This, in terms of shape, there is no shape based on the picture we're seeing.
No, absolutely none at all, and it looks like a defence that's not played together. I can't remember ever seeing a Barcelona defence look that weak and that disjointed. I also think Hector Bellerin plays a large part in the fault of that game, in the goal, should I say, because he's extremely quick and he's used his pace his whole career. He's an experienced player. He's been captain of Arsenal, and ultimately he's come up against somebody in Sadio Mane who's not only confident but just as quick as him, and he's paid the penalty tonight. Yeah,
and the funny thing was that Bellerin had Mane in the right position. Well, you're a striker, you know that the defender likes to be inside and the striker out. So Mane was outside, maybe less favoured, and the ball came across Bellerin. Mane still sprinted around him to get it. Very, very poor defending all round.
Yeah, very poor defending, but I think you also have to give some credit to Sadio Mane. He's used his body really, really well. He's got in front of Hector Bellerin, and even though maybe Hector Bellerin in a longer or bigger space, should I say, might have got back, he actually ran out of room. He can't make a challenge because he's the last defender, and that's obviously bided Mane some time to make a good finish.
Yeah, and the quality of the pass from Serge Gnabry was also very, very good. Let's just acknowledge that. Anyway, let's talk about Group A, where Liverpool needed only a point against Ajax at the Johan Cruyff Stadium or Arena in Amsterdam, and this is how Klopp's team went about their job.
He was guilty of one or two errors in defeat at Nottingham Forest last weekend. Daley Blind has got it into the middle, and there might be an opening. There is! Big chance! But it's off the post and away! Berghuis has been putting them in for fun lately. This Bergwijn. Tadic, allowed to turn, allowed to square it. And Alisson makes the save. With Rafa Benitez for most games managed in this competition for the club. Lassen beaten by Gomez, but it's going to ricochet for Broby. Bergwijn leaves it. Here is Tadic, and Alexander Arnold was there to block. Was at Leicester City for a while, but never got close to the first team. Henderson into Salah. Where was Pasveer going? Only one place Salah was going.
He's well found by Jordan Henderson. A clever pass to him with the outside of his boot. He's coming from an offside position, but works himself back onside. That's a lovely flick over the goalkeeper. Intelligent finish. It's not easy. Sees the goalkeeper a long way off his line, and a clever little dink over the top of him.
There's much to admire about that. The pass from Henderson with the outside of the boot. The finish from Salah. But not only that, the way he... Not sure he'll get to Ian Rush's 346 anytime soon. There's Robertson, and here's Firmino! And Darwin Núñez has missed a sitter. Robertson in, and it's in for 2-0. Headed home by Darwin Núñez, who found the room and finds the net.
Well-guided header. Gets across two men.
Liverpool's playing this half. Only been 6 minutes of it, but they look a different team. And they're in again with Elliott. And Elliott went for goal and he scored! Incredible!
Mo Salah getting the high fives. Just look how he just drops into midfield and he's aware of Harvey Elliott's run and strokes it into his path. He doesn't have to break stride.
Yeah, Napoli, by far and away, well, arguably the best team we've seen in the entire group stage of this Champions League, running away with Group A. Remember, they beat Liverpool fair and square, the only team in this group to have done so, with their maximum 15 points. Liverpool on 12. Ajax will play Europa League football next year. Klopp can now begin planning for the knockout stage of the Champions League. And poor old Rangers, 19 goals scored against them in this section. They really need a lot more to be able to cut it with the boys at this level. Nick Blackman is still with me. Nick, Liverpool, well, the classic game of team gets chances, doesn't score chances, then superior team, who are their opponents, gets into gear and then makes the game look easy thereafter. That's exactly what happened today at the Johan Cruyff Arena.
Yes, exactly. Ajax started off on the front foot. They really pressed Liverpool. They didn't give them any seconds to breathe with the intensity and the aggression they were playing with. Played fantastic, and ultimately they had 3 massive chances. And if they had gone up 3-0 up from half time, nobody would have questioned that. Liverpool weathered the storm, and Mohamed Salah managed to get on the score sheet with his first attempt on goal, and it just shows the ruthlessness that they have, and they kicked on. Once they got that first goal, there was no looking back.
I want to ask you to explain for us, explain for us, how Darwin Núñez missed that chance. Our producer is going to give it to us in short order. And while we were doing the Champions League show today, one of my analysts said, well, George, it is clear he didn't expect the pass, and he was just reacting to it. And I wanted to know what you thought, because Bobby Firmino burst into the box, and based on how the play developed, this is Joe Gomez with a switch of play that Robertson does very well to take on, and then from your Firmino at this point, and then look at Núñez. And so, Nick, as a striker, explain to me how your union member missed this sitter.
I want to try and help him out a little bit and say the ball was slightly in front of him, but I can't really help him out too much. I think it's just a lack of concentration. It was so easy. It was there for him on a plate. Ultimately, yeah, I'm just going to have to go with a lack of concentration. Sometimes it can be that simple.
Yeah, and my colleague was saying earlier that if he was anticipating and plugged in, i.e. concentrating, as you've said, he would have set himself to have probably gone for that ball with the right foot, but because he only reacted, that's why he stuck out the left leg, and that's why he missed.
Yeah, exactly that. And I think ultimately, if you play with players like Firmino, as we've watched over the years, he's an incredibly unselfish player. So he definitely should have been anticipating that ball from him.
Nick, my question is, why is it that Liverpool looks like a different team in the Champions League versus the poor form that we see when they play in the Premier League?
Yeah, great question. I think ultimately they've got the confidence that they've played, and they've won it recently, and they know with the intensity where the intensity in the Premier League week in, week out from a lot of the teams is very high. So when they're then bringing that into the Champions League games, a lot of the foreign continental teams can't quite keep up with that intensity.
Yeah, does it have anything to do, George, with the fact that they're in an easier group?
Yeah, I was saying to Mariah, it also is down to the fact that the group that they're in, Napoli apart, which is the big team in the group, and Napoli is the one that beat them. Ajax destroyed Rangers, but Rangers are very, very, very weak. A team of children could perhaps beat Rangers. That the group is accommodating to Liverpool, and the stresses and the pressures that they go through at the weekend in the EPL, Napoli apart, none of the other teams in the group is equipped to do that to them in this Champions League.
Yeah, I definitely think they've had a bit of luck of the draw with regarding having an easier group, but it's the opponent that gets put in front of them, and Liverpool have to beat them. You know, there's been many a game when there's been a massive upset, and Liverpool have had to stay concentrated and to make sure they get the job done. They've not been the best group in the team, as we see. Napoli's gone clear and far ahead and playing fantastic football, but Liverpool have been professional. They've gone about their business and they're through. So that is what they'll be very happy with.
Stay where you are, Nick. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk some more about the Champions League, including a group involving Tottenham Hotspur, Olympique Marseille, Eintracht Frankfurt and Sporting Lisbon, where the top team and the bottom team are separated by 2 points. More on the UEFA Champions League after this break.